Howdy folks, it's Alberto. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are 70% done with the Amazon bush trip from the latest world update of South America. And we're going to combine legs 8 and 9 today. I know that's a lot of time for me, but I have the time to do it while my kid is watching some TV show that I can't stand. So I've got time, and edited down is not going to be 2 hours plus for you. Don't worry, it'll be just fine for you. So what am I waiting for? Let's get going. So yes, another day in paradise. Legs 8 and 9 today. I assume you've watched other videos of this bush trip so far. You're not just jumping in the middle. If not, hopefully you can follow what's going on. I'm not going to repeat myself in the previous videos. What I'm going to do though, which I'll probably forget to do in editing, is I'm going to crank up the sound, the background sound, so it's getting louder and louder and louder. And let's just listen to the atmospheric sounds for a minute with all the birds and everything. Isn't that just crazy? That is so cool. I miss all that because I don't wear headphones when I do flight sim or when I do anything. Well, that was loud. When I just don't use headphones or anything because having the headphones on for more than a few minutes at a time really hurts my head. I get very bad headaches, like migraine type headaches. So I don't wear headphones, which means I keep my personal volume kind of low so it doesn't bleed into the microphone. I know it bleeds in a little bit as it is, but I want to bleed in more, so I keep it really low. And the problem then is that I miss out on a lot of sounds that you get to hear and I don't. So anyway, very fun to take that moment for the ambient sounds. Let's repair and refuel. Control R on my keyboard. It's not on your keyboard. You have to make it that way. In fact, repair and refuel isn't anything in the sim natively. It's something we OG bush trippers had to do because there were airports that didn't have fuel and we ran out of fuel, so we had to map that. Now I think all the airports have fuel, or most of them. But a lot of those mountain bush trips and stuff just did not have any fuel. So the only way to get through a bush trip was map that to your keyboard. Okay, where are we going right now? Where are we at? We are at Mike Alpha, so we're coming down here. If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm just getting the GPS going again. There's Mike Alpha there, right? Is that where we are? Yes, our airplane is there. And we need to manually put this in because it forgets sometimes. So we need to put it back in every time we start it up. There we go. Boom. Very cool. Alrighty. Whoa, that's not what I intended on doing whatsoever. Where are we headed to in this 49 minute leg, excuse me, SNYA, which is more appropriately pronounced Sierra November Yankee Alpha, which is over here somewhere. Alrighty, so I think, oh, well, that's just easy. Two things take up the 49 minutes. So we're going to read about them both, and then you're just going to get sightseeing. If you have no idea what sightseeing means, it means you haven't been watching the other videos, which is okay. Not everybody watches everything. But you're going to quickly find out what that means. Real world weather is turned on, by the way. And it looks like it's a pretty nice day outside. So far we've had real world weather for all this entire bush trip. If we can complete these two legs, the antepenultimate, penultimate, and then final or ultimate leg, and then that means this entire 8 to 12 hours, when I add it all up in my head, is done real world weather at once. That's fantastic. Not at once, without having to change anything. So here we go. Let's read about this. Why are we wasting so much time? Lift off from the airport and fly along the northern shoreline of the Amazon to the city of Parana, or something, Prana. The city was established as a port to the trading center to leverage commercial activity on the Amazon. So let's get in the air. We'll head towards here, then we'll read about the destination as well. I just want to get going. So let's see here. We've been flying at 1,800 feet per minute, which you can see down happening in there. I'm using the Logitech multi panel on my desk, but you can see it changing there. And let's get the CDI. There we go. And let's get the heading bug kind of in the right direction so that we can, if we don't want to hand fly, we can go to that. All these vertical speeds where we're at. Okay. We're set. That's it. Piece of cake. As I've been saying in every video, first set of flaps would be nice. I've been saying in every video that we don't do a full startup procedure in the bush trips because it would take so long. Half the video each time would be the startup procedure. So we just kind of do what we need to do to get the plane going and just enjoy the trip. So here we go, our favorite view for taxi, which in this case I'm sarcastically saying favorite. I'm trying to get around that fuel station. because it has the HUD. You cannot turn the HUD off. It is like a mini game where everything's preset for you. You have no choice. You have to deal with how they set it up. At least it let us change weather now. There were a few hairy moments with weather before where we couldn't change it even if we had to. Alrighty, let's see here. We are going to spool up because this runway isn't terribly long, and this plane does take a while to take off. At least I feel like it does. So let's stop right there, hop inside, and spool it up. And away we go. We'll hand fly out of here, and I'm totally not in the chair right. I was leaning forward, and I gotta get back in my chair while the plane goes off because my feet were out the rudders. Alrighty, anywho, airspeed is alive. And we'll rotate in a moment here. Oh boy, there we go. Cool, ready to go. It wants to rotate early. Always wants to rotate early. Fine, I'll let it. There we go. See, a little bit early. That's okay. Brakes to stop the wheels. Get a little bit of speed here before we bring flaps. And then we need to make a U-turn. And flaps up. I want to go to the left because I want to see this cliff that the city is on. I bet that looks really cool in real life. I bet it does. Alrighty, let's keep an eye on what's going on here though. And we're going to turn all the way around. Then we're going to read about where we're headed. And looking at the GPS, it looks like our airport we're landing at is kind of a small one, but it didn't look small in the preview image. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. I'll look at that right on the path. So there we go. Autopilot, nav, vertical speed, 1,000 feet per minute, and we are set. Just like that. It did capture the nav, didn't it? It did. Alright, cool. Alrighty, so that's pretty cool looking. Some of the cities are better, but they did the best they could with what they were allowed to use for South America. But anyway, there you go. That looks better from a distance. Alright, we know we're on track, not worried about it. No achievements for this bush trip. We do have all the achievements, including the 1,000-hour achievement. And look at that rainstorm. Beautiful. Okay, you know the drill. We're going to fly up to 1,800 feet, no pun intended. And then we will, actually, we got to read about the other place, the other thing first. Yeah, so there's that, and then, so there to there is 49 minutes, huh? That must be zoomed out pretty far. Yeah, 40 nautical mile range. Oh, well, whatever. Okie dokie. So let's read about what we're doing, and I'm just going to set us free and just do some sightseeing capture for you between here and there. And I won't have to talk very much in the beginning of this video. How nice is that? Alrighty. Lift off, trading center. So this first place is the trading center. I will make sure we get that inner sightseeing. Don't worry. And then from there, for half an hour, we're going to follow the bank of the Amazon, pass over the river islands, and gain a vision on the town of Almeirim. Land at the airport, located just north of town. The airport was established in the early 1600s by Portuguese and Dutch colonists. Decades later, the Portuguese built a fort to control navigation on its section of the Amazon. So, the trading town, and then an airport in a town, village, trading thing made by colonists. Geez, that's not a good way to describe that at all. But there you go. And then we'll do the next leg in the same video. So when we land, don't go anywhere, right? Alright, so I've got about 45 minutes of flying to do. You're not going to have to sit through 45 minutes of video. It might be 3 minutes. It might be 15. Depends how many. Well, not 15. It'll be 5 or 7 max. But however much sightseeing I want to put in. I see cool stuff, I put it in. That's what you get to see. So hang out, enjoy, turn up your volume, and I'll see you shortly when it's time to approach. So we are still 8 minutes out from the airport, which actually isn't that long considering I've been sitting here for 45 minutes. However, I wanted to point out this terrain that we just saw in the last section of sightseeing. Who knew there were mountains in the Amazon? I didn't know this. Did you know this? You probably did. Y'all probably did, but I didn't. I thought it was literally just trees. Flat with trees. I should know better than that. My world geography is better than the average American. By a lot. I guess that's not saying much, is it? Anyway, there's Amazon. When people think of the Amazon, right? Nice and wide and obvious, I guess. Like obviously a very wide river. But as we saw in the previous videos, it's not all like that. There's a lot going on before we got to this point of the Amazon. And now there's a lot going on the shores of the Amazon. So I'm very glad I was wrong. If you remember a couple of videos ago, so like a week ago maybe for you, maybe even 2 weeks ago for you guys and folks and gals, I'm like, I hope it's not just thick forest for 8 hours. Well, it was only forest in the beginning. And while this is still a forest and jungle, it's a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. So I'm very pleased. This bush trip definitely is up there and is one of my favorites. It's an easier one, but it's also one of my favorites for sure, which is good because I was worried that it was going to get really boring. It was going to be too much of the same thing and too much of a good thing. But I was wrong, and I am always happy to be wrong. Yes. Alrighty, so we're going to start looking for this runway in a little bit. I don't know how easy it's going to be or how hard it's going to be to spot. I have a feeling it's going to be harder than it looks because of all the terrain around it. See, this isn't flat. And, okay, it runs parallel to the, well, hang on now. Is this river here? Is that this river? So is it parallel to that river? Or are we looking at these things? Oh my, why are things changing? Change on me? Oh, it's the terrain turbulence. Well, that looks awesome. What the heck is that? It's like all muddy and marshy. Huh. Anyway, I'm thinking this water is that other river, which means we're going to be perpendicular to it, which means it's going to be hard to spot. So we might have to fly directly over the airfield until we find it. And then we'll take it from there, perhaps. Oops, let's bring back the props a little bit. On the red. There we go. Anywho, 5 minutes now, trying to get my microphone adjusted. It's bringing away from me. See how it gets quieter? I don't know what's going on, but the microphone stand thing is bringing away. So sorry about the audio, if it has any effect whatsoever. Alrighty. Yeah, we're just going to go along here now and wait till we find the runway, wherever it's going to be. Alright, I forget that we have a zoom thing. If you're in the cockpit, you can take out the binoculars, and it looks like it's right here. Right on top of a plateau. It is this river that is parallel to, though. Did I say perpendicularly? No, we're going to approach perpendicular, and we are. But it's right there on top of that plateau. You can't miss it. Super obvious. So, we're not going to come down and elevate in altitude because it's up. So let's check the VFR map and see what the altitude of this elevation of this is. Elevation, 584 feet. So let's see, we're still going to be 1,200 feet above it, which is fine, but we want to approach about 15, so we don't want to come down at all until we know we're ready to land. Wind, okay, we're perfectly into the wind, which means no matter what we do, we're going to have basically a 90-degree crosswind. So it doesn't really matter which runway we choose, unless the winds change when we get there. So we'll probably come from the left. It looks a little bit easier. Beautiful island over there looking at the river. Then there's another river, which I could Google and tell you what it is, but I don't know. I'm not sure what river that is. Let's see. Let's look outside one final time here before we have to start thinking about landing. Looking back at the Amazon and those beautiful mountains. I guess there's big hills, but still, they seem like mountains after having a lot of flat stuff for many, many hours. Look at that. Wow. So beautiful. This is definitely getting better as we go. Some of the towns were kind of meh, but in general, it's getting better as we go. I also notice, as they're rendered in now, it's actually harder to spot. Interesting. And the wind hasn't changed, but the direction of the runway did now that it rendered in detail. So we actually want to approach from the direction we're coming from. Look at that. Okay. Never mind, it made a liar out of me, but that's okay, because it's going to be easier to land. So let's see. Let's turn off autopilot. And let's fly over here. And let's keep an eye on our speed. I noticed we're having some weird speed things back there with all that turbulence. And, yeah, looking good. What's this preset? Oh, that preset's that way. Oh. Okay. Oh man, I got a lot of views I normally don't have. Very cool, take it. Alright, so this does look more complicated to land from this way, possibly, but it is a very long runway. So we should be fine no matter what. And there's the town right there that we're supposed to look at. So the airport's just north of town on top of a plateau. And, yeah, should be pretty easy. Should be pretty easy. Let's not lose much altitude, though, until we're on final, because when things are on a plateau, you can lose altitude too much in a hurry and crash them to the side. So we gotta be very careful. So let's get into flap range. Looks like we already are. There's one set of flaps. And full flap, bring back throttles. We're gonna slow down. So I'm gonna nose up to slow down, but throttles will keep us from climbing. I'm gonna bring them back. There we go. Oh, this is beautiful. This is incredibly beautiful. Holy moly. I'm so glad I was wrong about the scenery, because I thought it was literally going to be a river and forest for 8 to 12 hours. And the reason why I say 8 to 12 is because it was 8 hours. That's how long the bus trip is, but it always takes me way longer, so I always add like another quarter or half. So 12 hours is my prediction, but wow, I'm so glad I was wrong about the terrain. It just changed so much since we started. It was beautiful in the beginning. I love seeing the thick jungle and the rainforest and how all the tributaries formed the Amazon. I love that. But I love how different it is here. This is wildly beautiful. Alrighty. Gotta come over those trees before we come down too low, but we have lots and lots and lots of runway, so that's not a problem. We just gotta make sure we don't clip the trees, because they're not freebies. They used to be freebies in the very beginning of bush trips. You could clip them and it didn't matter. Now it does matter. And I know it didn't matter because I landed short and went right through a bunch of trees and it didn't care. And then later on it did care. Okay, here we go. Let's not clip those trees. Let's keep our speed up a little bit. We will gain some speed when we nose down after the trees though. So bring back throttles now. And get ready to dive down over the trees. And there we go. And level off. There we go. Come down. Go, come on. Don't be too nice. Thank you. Reversers engaged. On the brakes. Flaps coming in. And reversers disengaged. On the brakes. We will stop here. Yoke all the way back. We don't prop strike. And set the parking brake. And like usual, we're just going to stop on the runway. We could find a parking spot. But if it's not exactly where they want us to be, then we have to move around. So we'll let this run and spin down. Once the prop stops, that'll be the end and we'll get our credit. But let's just look at this for a second. This is insane. This is absolutely wild. And we'll look again before we take off for the next leg, because the next leg will be in the video, same video. So any second we should be getting credit. Where is it? Is it still spinning down? There we go. Okay, cool. Alrighty, leg 9, right? Here we go. And I started recording, or started running without recording. So airplane's starting up. I just didn't record yet. I was just coming out here and yapping away. I don't remember what I said. I just said the airplane's going to start. And that's where we landed. So we'll take off from the same direction and go that way. Hopefully the runway's long enough. And I was repeating myself like normal and saying, even though I said twice already in this video, I'm so glad I was wrong about the terrain. I'm so glad that I was wrong, because I thought it was going to be flat and jungle for the whole time. This is amazing. I am just stuck in awe at what this looks like. Not sure what kind of device you're watching on, but I'm on my 27-inch monitor, 24-inch monitor. I don't even know what my monitors are. It's gorgeous. 1440p, that's all I need. All right, so continuing on, we are headed to MQ, Mike, Quebec. I know in the US we just say Quebec, and I said that to somebody who's French, and they're like, I don't know where Quebec is. I know where Quebec is. I'm like, okay, so it's Quebec. We'll get in the air and see if our GPS continues. It might not continue. We might have to... let's put it anyway. Let's go to 22 anyway, just because I don't want to have to fight it once we're in the air. So let's go direct to 22 and activate it. There you go. Thank you. All right. Quite a ways to go here, going all the way up to Mike, Quebec, which is probably like right here. I'm thinking, and this is our final leg, which is another hour something, hour 15, I think, for that leg. Oof. Alrighty, let's see how we're gonna do this. I don't want this to be a super long video. 22, 20. Okay, so I think we'll do. See, I don't want to read everything first. I can give you 20 minutes of sightseeing. That's silly, but I don't want to take too much time. So I think what we'll do is we'll do the first couple one at a time, then we'll just do the rest in one fell swoop. Okay, that's what we'll do. All right. Grand Guapa Island. After taking off, fly out over the midland of the Amazon to pass over the island. As the Amazon nears its outlet, we're getting closer, only 250 miles. Its rate of downstream flow slows very gradually. The amount of sediment it can carry is related to water speed. The faster the flow, the more sediment. As the slowest river deposits sediment, its disposition carries complex networks of low island. Okay, y'all let you read the rest of that. I don't want to lose my voice. Y'all can pause and read if you want to, so there's your cue to pause if you want to read it. There's a lot of interesting information in there. Rainforest. Yes, we're still in the rainforest. The entire group of island is called the Marajo Archipelago. Not sure how you say that in Portuguese. There are more than 2,500 low islands built out of fine silt. Whew, cool. So that's 20 minutes away. That is right here. So when we get to there, we'll read about the next one and so on and so on. And then we'll group the final ones together, just because I don't want to stop or read each time. Alrighty, let's see. Favorite taxi view. Let's get out of here. We are not in a hurry, but I don't want this to be like over an hour. Some of these videos are getting really long. Thank you for watching them, though. I have a small fan base, but you're a very, very, very dedicated fan base, so I appreciate it. And I appreciate you spreading the word, because I do get a few new subscribers every single day. I get comments every single day about how helpful my videos are, and I'm very glad to hear it, because that's why I do it, right? I do it to be helpful, and just to share what I learned with you all as I learn new things, but also people pick up things, right? Even seasoned flight simmers might be like, oh my gosh, I never thought to do that, or never thought to learn about that, or oh, that's what that does, or I didn't know that type of thing, right? So there you go. Alright, I want to go all the way to the end here, just because we have to go over the trees at the other end, and it makes me nervous sometimes. Although these trees seem a lot shorter than the other ones we've been seeing at the end of some of those runways. We have some big trees to clear. Come on now. There we go. That is a wide runway. Whew. Alright, hop inside. Everything's ready to go. We're going to use the same altitude on our GPS and everything. It's just 1,800 feet. It's a beautiful, beautiful altitude to fly at, especially with all these low mountains. Like, man, I actually left for a couple minutes, helped my kid with something. And I came back, and all of a sudden I'm like, I almost crashed into those mountains. I was like, whoops. Oh, this is nice and smooth. Oh, no, it was until it got really light. Rotate, there we go. Brakes to stop the wheels. Get a little bit of speed here since we have the room to do it. Lean forward, see, flaps coming up. Looking over the plateau. Oh my word. Oh, I would love to visit the Amazon so badly. Even though I'm scared of animals. I'm scared of wild animals. Not domestic ones, but wild ones. But I would still love to check out the Amazon. Oh, just amazing. Alrighty, here we go. Let's get back on track. And we'll engage autopilot in just a moment. Just enjoying hand flying as well. Like I've said in other videos, if I weren't making content, I would hand fly most of the time. It's just really hard to set up sightseeing shots when I have to hand fly. I've done it and I can do it. It's just more difficult than it needs to be. So I use autopilot whenever I can when it comes to making content for y'all. Anyway, let's head back to the main river here, and then we'll head towards the group of islands, all those low islands of silt. And there is our 1800 feet already, almost. So let's engage autopilot now. Nav, vertical speed 500 feet per minute is fine. Let's see if that picked up nav. I think it did. Yeah, it's just gonna go over there a little bit more, which is fine. Okay, whatever. Alrighty, I'll turn you to sightseeing in a minute, but let's enjoy this together for a brief moment here. This beautiful terrain. Yeah, look at that. That runway is literally, they carved out the ridge of the mountain and put a runway on it. Oh, look at those roads down there. Oh, man. You know what's funny? I was thinking just earlier today, I'm not all choked up, I promise. Seasonal allergies. I was thinking earlier today that as much as I'm like a suburban folk, I'm not really a city person. I'm not rural either. I'm a suburban person. I was thinking, you know, how nice would it be to live where there's no neighbors, like, around for a long time? You know? Like I just saw this house back there, tucked away. How nice would that be? The downside is if you did run into somebody, it'd be scary as all get out because you wouldn't be expecting to see anybody. You know? Like here in the city where I live, if someone like comes up to your door, is poking around, you're like, oh, don't be an idiot, leave my stuff alone. But if they happened in a rural area, that'd be scary. You know? That's one thing that keeps me from doing it. But I just thought of that, and then that house back there reminded me. So anyway, enough rambling. I know a lot of you do come here for story time, and I haven't told stories in about a dozen videos. So I gotta get some more stories to tell. I just don't really have any lately to tell that are relating to what I'm doing. But anywho, I would like to get to the Amazon someday. That'd be really fun. But I would probably be too scared of the wild animals in the jungle. I would never leave the resort or cabin or wherever you stay there. But I'd like to. I'd like to see it. So, flight sim, that's as good as it gets for now. Alrighty, enough rambling from me. No real stories of value to share. So I'm just going to keep going for another hour or something. And give you some sightseeing. We will read about these waypoints as we go. So this isn't the end of me. You'll still hear from me in a minute. But enjoy your minute or two without my voice, and I'll see you in a second. And here we are, where all the low silt islands are that you can't see because they're underground. But that is a cool looking beach, isn't it? Look at that. Very cool looking beach. Alrighty. Ooh, rain storm. Just like in our previous videos we had. Let's hop outside a minute while the airplane turns, because under us is where all the little islands are that we can't see. But there's a big fork, or a big Y in the river. And I guess we're going this way. So let's read about why we're going this way and see where it's taking us. Alright, half an hour longer here. Fly along the midline of Grand Grup Island and climb to 3,000 feet to gain a view of the western portion of the Amazon River Delta. Fly over the development reserve located at the northeastern end of the island. The Brazilian government established a reserve to protect the unique ecosystem of this part of the Amazon Delta region. Problem is, if we go too high, we're going to be in the clouds. So let's go a little higher, because why not? Let's go to 2,700 feet. And let's see, we'll do 600 feet per minute. And we'll see what we can see from there. And that's for half an hour. So if we come over here, that's even off the map. I wanted to see, whoops. Oh yeah, this is I knew it was a giant island. So Amazon River, both sides of it, right? We're going to go right over the middle of the island, and then the river comes back together again. So 24 minutes, that'll get better as we level off at a higher altitude. But yeah, another half an hour for me or so, just a minute or two for you after editing, and I'll see you at this preserve that we're supposed to check out. I will see you then. I don't think I have anything else to say. I could come up with something to say, but I won't. Well, things are definitely looking pretty awesome, cool, awesome, groovy from this altitude. Let's look around outside a little bit here. We got the river there and the river there. We're just on this enormous, enormous island. It's way bigger to be flying over than it looks on a map. Holy moly, rockin' this thing's enormous. And then we went right through the rainstorm. I had a perfect sightseeing shot, ready to go, approaching this rainstorm. I'm pointing at my monitor like you can see me pointing. Anyway, that rain cloud from the other side. I had a perfect sightseeing shot set up, and then I got distracted by something that I forgot. So, bummer. It looked good to me, but you didn't get to see it. I'm so sorry. Oh well. Let's see here. Just a few minutes before we before we move on to the next thing. So we're going over the reservation or reserve or whatever right now. Another 22 minutes, which is crazy because this leg is 75, so an hour and 15 minutes. And 50, yeah, I'm going to be way behind on this one, which is fine, but holy cow. Alright, so another 22 minutes, maintain altitude and head and pass over a series of islands and channels of the island, many of which are protected reserves. The view from this altitude provides a great perspective to understand how the Delta region in the Marajo archipelago was formed and continues to evolve. Sight the city of Santana in the distance and continue onto the northern bank of the Amazon, passing into the Brazilian state of Amapá. Pass over the confluence of the tributary of the river, and then fly over the island, pass the confluence, and then pass over the city. So in about half an hour, we'll be checking out a city, and then it's all very, very fast from there. So when we get closer to the city, we'll read about the rest of this, because this is pretty much the city, I would think. And then, yeah, see, it's, yeah, stuff about the city. Okay, cool. So as we approach the city, we will read about the rest of it in land. So we're about to turn now, enjoy a few more minutes of sightseeing. I do admit I'm leaving in way less sightseeing than I thought I would. I thought I'd have a lot more for you, but I don't know. I don't want it to be stagnant either with the same thing like this for half an hour. But anyway, hope you have enough fuel. I forgot to refuel between legs. Should be enough. Otherwise we can do some magic, right? Hopefully we don't need to do any magic. No reality TV for me. Alrighty, here we go. We're about to turn, and I'll see you when we approach the city. Well, 5 minutes until we run into town, and as I get comfortable here, we got a lot of clouds. So we're going to come down soon. Actually, we're going to come down now. Let's go back to our 1,800 feet that we've been flying at for most of the trip, just so that we can get below these clouds. Let's go 400 feet per minute down. And the sun is setting. I hope we get there before the sun sets. Not sure how well lit up it's going to be. I know the preview of the final leg has us landing at night, but we'll see how it goes. Now look at that storm cloud that just popped in. Holy googly moogly. That looks like a great desktop background, doesn't it? Let me take a screenshot of that, and I'll totally forget that I did. Wowzers. Look at that rainbow. Very cool. Alrighty, let's read about town and everything, since it's going to happen very quickly as we get closer here. Close these up, and go to the town, gain a visual on the highway, and follow the Amazon, follow the highway. I'm trying not to read everything because I don't lose my voice. The stadium located. Oh, it looks like it's another stadium that isn't modeled. It's just in the satellite imagery. Okie dokie. So we're looking for a stadium that isn't modeled right when we cross the water. And then right after that, we're going to look for this thing that is modeled. What is it? It is a fortress that I can't pronounce, built in the late 1700s. Established a stronghold on the northern bank of the Amazon. The city Macapá, which I've heard of, or I've read anyway, grew in the presence of the fort after its construction, decades after its construction. Cool. Alrighty, so we got a stadium and a fort, and then the airport. Actually, there's the town, the stadium, the fort. I have those backwards. Stadium, fort, right there. And then land at the airport, international airport. Okay, very, very cool. Right, Mike, Quebec. Alrighty, and then that'll wrap up this leg number 9 and this video. But stay tuned for the next video. Look how it's raining right over the town. Make sure you subscribe, notifications turned on, and stay tuned for the next video where we conclude this amazing bush trip. And I must admit, even though it's 8 hours minimum, plus adding all the extra time that it takes me, I am not sick of this one. Sometimes the bush trips that are longer than 4 or 5 hours, I'm like, too much of a good thing, I'm sick of it. But not in this case. I'm actually kind of bummed to only have one leg left. But that's okay. We have another bush trip to do anyway. But this is gorgeous, and the train has changed enough to keep my interest. Very beautiful. I'm looking at all the weather. Oh, look at that. We're heading towards the ocean. Alrighty. There's the town. And where's the airport from here? We have just enough fuel. Jeez. That's cutting it close. The weather, I mean, as it sits, the wind will be flying. We'll come here, make a left, or fly over and do left traffic, or join right traffic, whatever. We'll land from this angle unless the wind changes. You never know. Might not have enough fuel to go around, so we better get it right in first try. No pressure or anything. But this is pretty close. This is a minute and a half, so that's probably 3 minutes. Yeah, we're pretty close. Cool. Alrighty, bring back those props because we're in the red. And I don't think there's anything else to say, so let's enjoy the arrival of the city, and then we'll check out those 2 landmarks and figure out how we're going to approach this airport. Looking outside because we can, although we're banking the other way, but looks good, looks beautiful. Oh, look at those houses all through that. Super cool. And we'll have the stadium coming up soon here, then the fortress. So yeah, 2.5 minutes to the stadium. So let's look outside backwards this way and enjoy this town, although the drone is crooked. So let's reset that. Beautiful clouds, beautiful weather. Real world weather is turned on. Hopefully we can finish the bush trip in the next video also with real world weather. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Beautiful town. This is probably the best modeled town on this entire trip, to be honest. Oh, that sun position is incredible too. Look at that city. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Alright, but we have 2 more things to look for here before we land. And I was nervous about fuel, but we got plenty of fuel. Plenty of fuel. Yeah, I'm trying to think how we're going to approach the airport, but it doesn't matter. Because like I said, the wind might change anyway, and it has changed. So, we don't know how we're going to approach the airport until we get closer to it because of the wind. But isn't that beautiful? Look at that. So lovely. And since the GPS puts us directly over our POIs, or points of interest, let's hop outside and look for that stadium. There it is right there. When I hand fly or use heading bug to navigate, we always fly next to things so that we can see them better. But Using the GPS puts us right over stuff, which is fine. Totally okay. But that means we have to hop outside and use our special 360 camera or something that pilots are using in real life now. And yeah, those stadiums are not modeled, they're just relying on satellite imagery, which is kind of lame-o, to be honest. I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird. But anyway, I'm kind of more mesmerized by the city myself. The city is very, very different than the city we just came from, like 20 miles away. Holy moly, or 5 miles away probably. There's a skyline here. Look at that. Oh, that's amazing. There's a fortress right there. So we'll hop back out here in a second to see it. I just want to look around through the windows because that's the most immersion, right? Beautiful. You can pause it. Oh, look at that rainstorm. You can pause it if you want to. Where's my thing? There it is. Jeez, I gotta reorganize my presets for this particular plane. Roundabouts, nice, nice. And I haven't even looked for the airport yet. Oh, it's right there. Like right next to us. So let's come in here, kill autopilot. Come down here and get the camera ready. And then hit C so we can control our plane ourselves as we fly by the fortress. And then hit C again to move to camera. And then C again so I can control my plane. There we go. And have a good look because we're going to reset the camera in 3, 2, 1. And we'll hop back in here. We're going to land this thing now. Alright, wind. Wind wants us to land from the left. So let's zigzag around. Or should we do... okay, let's do a left traffic pattern. I was going to make some really sharp turns. I was going to turn sharp left and sharp right, and that's ridiculous. Then I can just do a traffic pattern. I was going to turn left here, then turn right here. Why would I do that? That makes no sense. Alrighty. Let's bring our speed back a little bit. So we're going to nose up to slow down, but bring back throttles so we don't climb. In fact, we could descend a little bit, I guess. And just enjoying the views. Enjoying the view. I say that to my wife all the time. I'm enjoying the view. It's true. Look at that. You can see the wispy rain from the wind blowing the rain. Oh, that's incredible. Just incredible. And it's a good time we're stopping soon because I just started getting really dizzy. Those of you who follow the channel know that I have a lot of weird blood pressure problems with low blood pressure and other heart issues. And I just suddenly got really dizzy. So the fact you're watching this video means I'm alive. But holy moly, sometimes I wonder. I'm completely serious about that. First set of flaps. Check that out. Wowzers. Amazing. Let's stay parallel to the runway here though. And let's drop down a little bit. I'm not sure why we're climbing, but I did something weird. Like I said, I'm kind of dizzy, so if I were driving a car right now, I would definitely be pulling over and waiting. Problem is, sometimes it lasts 30 seconds, sometimes it lasts 12 hours, so yeah. Whew, this is a struggle, but I can do it. It just adds to the challenge, right? This bush trip has been too easy so far, so we're going to land on fumes, and while I'm very dizzy. Interesting. Alright, full flap now as we come along on our base and then a short final. Let's get this plane on the ground though, so let's bring back throttle so we descend rather quickly while we keep an eye on our speed here. So let's go like this so we can see the runway wherever it went. Where did it go? It's back there. Somewhere, there it is. And then keep an eye on our speed while we descend as well. I would have problems if I flew a plane in real life though because I'm so dang tall. It would be just as difficult to see. Let's level off here until we get to final. So bring in those throttles, please. Thank you very much. And it says we're too high. Really? Yeah, I guess maybe we are. Alright, this final is much longer than we needed, but that's okay. Y'all know my track record. The better I set up the approach with nice, long, smooth finals, the worse the worse it goes for me. It's when we're landing in the mountains and we're coming around a corner and we have to drop down and land on a runway that I can barely see until the last second. Those are my best landings. I don't know why. Maybe I perform well under pressure. I don't know. My wife may or may not agree. But anyway, let's have another look at this city. Oh, look at that swimming pool. Beautiful city. Oh my gosh. So between being dizzy and looking around on final, I'm really making things difficult for myself. Alright, let's get back on the glide slope. I just don't want to hit these trees, although I know we got plenty of space. Alrighty, I'm just trying to entertain myself because I am really dizzy and I cannot wait to go to bed. It is very late. I haven't done a late night flight like this in years. But, my kids are on spring break. They want to watch a movie or a TV show that I didn't want to watch. So that's why I'm flying late. But I gotta park this plane to get to bed. IRL, here we go. A little faster than I wanted to because I want to teach that stall horn. So let's just float above here. Just let it stall and land on its own. We are not going to run out of space. There we go. Boom. And reversers engaged on the brakes. Flaps coming in. Yoke all the way back. And reversers disengaged. And on the brakes, how we stop. We're going to leave it here for reasons I've been saying at every single leg. Because... Why, class? Because, I'm so dizzy I can't talk. Because if you try to park it, sometimes it won't count you there because you're too far away from the runway. So kills the emergency shutdown on the runway, but then we know it's a sure deal. And we're certainly going to get credit for it. So let's just wait for the... Come on. Give me my drone control. What is going on here? There we go. Let's just wait for it to spin down. We'll get credit any second now. And here it is. There we go. Boom. Leg 9 done. That was the penultimate. Yes. Penultimate and penultimate, and ultimate or final leg. Okay, so there you go. Second to last leg done. I am so dizzy. I don't even know how I'm going to get out of my office. But don't worry about me. I recorded this like a month ago. I'm fine. Trust me. I'm fine. And make sure to subscribe, notifications turned on, so that you know when the final video of this bush trip drops, not the final video, but the final video of this bush trip drops. Hit the like button so people know we exist. I'm going to go lie down before I fall and hit my head on something, and I'll see you next time.